Hello everyone, this is the mind of Lilith and welcome to another open mind intuitive tarot message. This reading will be for a relatively popular couple. They're very young. I'm talking about Halle Bailey and DDG, whose real name is Daryl Dwayne Granberry Jr. So I am an older millennial and I don't follow a lot of younger celebrities on social media. So I did not or don't know much about this relationship. I do know that the internet aunties, primarily black women, did not want Halle Bailey to date DDG because they felt like he would hold her back, he would sabotage her career. And this is based on DDG's track record with women. And also the fact that, Halle Bailey is like Hollywood celebrity type and DDG is a social media influencer. So they felt like she was kind of above him socially, and that because she had a higher class than him, I guess, as far as resources, access to celebrity and power and wealth, that he would try to drag her down out of jealousy. So the internet aunties were really adamant about Halle Bailey not entertaining DDG, right? They wanted them to break up or her not to take him seriously. But like most young women, Halle Bailey ignored the advice of the old wicked stepmothers, aka the internet aunties, because Halle Bailey had created an idealized fantasy of DDG. She wanted him to be that fantasy. And so when she got pregnant by him, she hid the pregnancy for a long time until she couldn't anymore. And shortly after the baby was born, they broke up. And I think DDG expressed that he was jealous of Halle Bailey when she was promoting her movie, The Little Mermaid. She was casted as Ariel. I found out recently that Halle Bailey was on Tyler Perry's TV show, and her sister is Chloe Bailey. So they're both relatively famous. And so they've broken up, and they've had this off again, on again relationship. It was really weird. So recently, Halle Bailey, she filed a restraining order on DDG and accused him of attacking her physically. So there's that. One of the reasons why I do not offer advice to a lot of young women anymore is not because I don't care. It's because most young women prefer the company, the love, the attention and affection of men over other women. Most young women value a man's attention and affection and sex more than the opinions of other women. And so no matter what you tell a lot of young women, they will ignore you because they need to find out themselves, and they want these men to be the fantasy that they've idealize them as. So it's hard to get through to them until they have their Saturn return, maybe to the age of 30, 35, maybe even 40. And then they'll see, okay, yeah, these men are not what I thought they were. Not saying they're all inherently evil, but they're not the knight in shining armor that I envisioned them to be. So as I was meditating on Halle Bailey and DDG's energies, I heard Sade's No Ordinary Love, the song No Ordinary Love, and the premise of that song is essentially a woman who is involved in a relationship with a man who gives her nothing. He takes everything from her. So she says, I gave you all the love I got. I gave you more than I could give. I gave you love. I gave you all that I had inside, and you took it. So there was no reciprocity in this relationship. Halle Bailey may feel like she's given this man everything, and it's still not enough. She even gave him a baby, and it still wasn't enough. There could be some nitpicking in the relationship. There could have been, some dynamic where there was an imbalance of power, one person was more invested than the other. Someone may have had ulterior motives that were not known to the other party. So it could be both ways. I don't know. But this is no ordinary love. Okay. So spirit guides, archangels, and divine messengers. I need some help here. I want to find out about Halle Bailey and Daryl Dwayne Granberry Jr.'s relationship. I want to find out how they feel about each other, what were the challenges in the relationship, and where they'll be going forward. Okay? So let's start with the central energies between them. Spirit guides. What are the central energies or the main energies in this relationship between Daryl Dwayne Granberry and Halle Bailey? Where are they currently? What are the energies between them? There is some stubborn energy here. What are the energies between Daryl Dwayne Granberry and Halle Bailey? What's happening in their relationship currently? What is the current state of their relationship? Spirit guys, thank you for your support. What is the current state of the relationship between Halle Bailey and DDG? Karma, consequences, cause and effect, debts. Okay, Saturn is making its rounds in this relationship. Now, DDG has Saturn in Aries, and Saturn just entered Aries, and Halle Bailey, I believe, is in Aries also. So they're both feeling the effects of Saturn at this point. And Saturn represents restrictions, tough lessons, growing up, maturation, learning things the hard way. You know, this is like they're both growing up through this relationship. Consequences, cause and effect, and debts. So they're both dealing with the consequences of their actions, for better or worse. Karma doesn't have to be bad necessarily. But if they did make mistakes, they're feeling the impacts of those mistakes right now. Okay? Underneath that, we have thinking, missing you, craving, and desiring. Okay, so one or both parties are missing each other, but because of Saturn's influence, Saturn could be the law. I believe Halle Bailey has Saturn in... Does she have Saturn in Sagittarius? I don't think so. I have to look at their charts again. I know DDG has Saturn in Aries, which is debilitated. So missing you, craving, and desiring. This is a very strange dynamic between them. It seems like one or both of them are regretting their actions, or they wish they could take things back. They're learning how to manage their temper, their ego, their desires, their impulses. This is, somebody could feel like they made a mistake, or they wish they would have done things differently. This is a woman here. I wonder if this is Halle Bailey feeling this way. So they're both being forced to sit down and reflect on their behavior, for better or worse. And I think they're learning from each other and through each other about some of their insecurities, some of their desires. They came together for a reason. When you have a Saturn Sun conjunction in a synastry reading, this is definitely a karmic relationship. There's a sense of responsibility and obligation to the other person, but also the Saturn person may be an oppressive, restrictive, authoritative, burdensome influence on the Sun person. So they're both being forced to grow up through this relationship. How does Halle Bailey currently feel about DDG, her ex? Open heart, receptive, empathy, and vulnerable. Interesting. Very interesting. So she could be the one missing him, which would make sense. If she's saying, I gave you all the love I got, I gave you more than I could give, then more than likely she was the one who was doing the majority of the work to maintain the relationship. She was very... if she's going to give him a baby at the height of her career, then more than likely she was very submissive to him in some way. But it seems like they had this, the relationship was kind of tumultuous because no matter how much she submitted to him, it may not have been enough. He could have been very critical of her with his Saturn being on her sun sign. It wasn't enough. Something was not enough. But she still loves him. She may be open to reconciliation if he knows how to behave. I don't know. Trapped with the baby. Okay. Stuck, tied down, and captive. Saturn energy. There's an apology beneath here too. Forgiveness, return, sorry. This is mess. Already, this is mess. This is mess. Karma. Dealing with the consequences of your actions for better or worse. How does DDG feel about Halle Bailey? How does Daryl Granberry Jr. feel about Halle Bailey? How does he feel about her in this relationship? Someone's a runner and someone's a chaser in this relationship. There's a runner-chaser dynamic. Chasing. Thank you. Pursuit, toxicity, resilience, heart fog, mixed signals. Again, runner-chaser, blocked emotions, and messed up. You understand that there's a spider. These are two purple cards. This spider weaved a web to trap someone. So someone was chased and trapped. Did he chase her or was she chasing him? Were they chasing each other? Someone got trapped by this spider. She's stuck, tied down, captive. Saturn conjunct the sun sign. What was Halle Bailey's Saturn placement? I forget. I have to look at her chart again. She's born after him. I forget. I'm going to do a signature reading for them, the couple, soon. But yeah, chasing and heart fog, mixed signals, blocked emotions, and messed up. And that is why she's like, I gave you all the love I got. I gave you more than I can give. I gave you all that I had inside, and you took my love. You took it. So he's running away from her. If she's open, why would he have to chase her? I think she's chasing him. Did she believe that having his baby would make him commit to her? So I heard that he asked for the baby. Did she give him the baby because she thought that it would anchor the relationship in some way, give it some sort of legitimacy? It would prevent him from leaving? Was she chasing him? Trapped and chasing. Both purple colors representing Neptune, which is illusions, fantasies, delusional behavior. There was a Neptune-Pisces transit conjunction over her Mercury and her Venus for the past 14 years. So she had a very idealized vision of this relationship that was not steeped in reality. And Saturn in Pisces, which just left and went into Aries, when Saturn entered Pisces, a bucket of cold water was poured over this relationship, and she was forced to see this for what it was. Let me get one more. Open heart and trap. Clarify Halle Bailey's feelings for DDG. Open heart and trapped. Please clarify what that is about. I gave you all the love I got. Cloudy judgment, heart fog, beauty. Neptune definitely here. Charming, graceful, kind-hearted. Illusions, unbalanced and distorted. There was an unbalanced exchange of energy, of commitment, of love, of compassion, of understanding in this relationship. We have heart fog and cloudy judgment. Neptune definitely has had an impact on this relationship, and Neptune is now in Aries, which is probably why Halle Bailey is feeling a bit more softer, kinder, and gentler towards DDG. Peace, balance, harmony. So we have unbalanced and we have balance. Breaking point, limit, final straw, overwhelmed. So I think Halle Bailey feels like she did all that she could to satisfy this man, including giving him a baby, much to the chagrin of the internet aunties, black women. And, you know, she was a rising star in Hollywood. She was casted as Ariel in The Little Mermaid. She had that Disney bag. A lot of black women were like, don't do this. And she, more purple, more Neptune. She was like, no, whatever she said. I don't know what she said because I'm not really privy to those conversations. I was just reading some of the commentary on the forums and social media. But apparently she resisted or she rejected the advice of the internet aunties because this man was a fantasy to her. Clarify the chasing and the heart fog for how DDG feels about Halle Bailey. Chasing and heart fog for how DDG feels about Halle Bailey. And then want to pull some of the cards. We have intuition, heart song, finality, distracted, rejection. Yeah. Heart song, telepathy, and knowing, farewell, leave behind closure, distracted, sidetracked, change, delays, rejection, abandoned, dismissed, irrational fear. DDG has Saturn opposing his sun, so he may have pushed Halle Bailey away before she could leave him. There's a deep insecurity about his desirability, about his masculinity. He could have daddy issues with Saturn and Aries, and maybe he wanted to have a baby with Halle Bailey to sort of work through his daddy issues. But we have here receptivity, open-heartedness, peace, entrapped, and beauty. But on his end, he's not even given that same energy. She was chasing him. Silence, hopeless, conflicted, only you. Black and white energies, gray, depressed. This is Saturn. He's the Saturn here. He's the one that was preventing this relationship from being as easy, as fun as it could have been. What? Okay, silence, hopeless, conflict, hot and cold, multiple choices. This is very Libra. Sinking, despair, falling apart, frozen, no words, stone wall. There's something, this is, okay, I feel like he's disconnected from this relationship. He was never that invested in the first place. He was using her he was involved in a relationship for reasons that were different than her own. I saw a female celebrity, this interview with a female celebrity. I think her name is Yvette something. I forgot her name. And she reconnected with an old boyfriend from college, or an old friend from college, and she's in her 50s now. And she was talking about how when a man knows what he wants, he won't play games, right? They reunited after many years or decades. Apparently she wasn't good enough for marriage when she was younger. So now she's established in her career. She's successful. This man doubles back. And now they're married. And she's like, when a man knows what he wants, he will commit to it. And I made a comment stating, well, why does he want what he wants, right? Why do you think he wants to be with you after all these years? Not saying she's a bad person and not attractive. That's not the point. What are the ulterior motives here? It's not enough to say, well, a man wants me. He's chasing me. He's going after me. He's passionate about me. Why is he going after you? What does he want from you? Right? Because most people are opportunists, especially men, when it comes to famous black women. So what does he want from you? Why did he choose you at this point in his life versus 20, 30 years ago? So it's not enough to say when a man wants you, he'll choose you. Yeah, but you have to understand his intentions. You have to think about that too. But because most women, again, want to be chosen by their Prince Charming, they'll overlook that. DDG is detached from this situation. He was never as invested in this as she was. Halle Bailey saw him for something that he was not. Finality, distracted, rejection. It's black and white energy. Is he going through depression or something like that? Farewells, leave behind closure, and she's open to reconciliation potentially. Devoted, attached, craved, convicted, conflicted. Decisions hot and cold, multiple choices. There's conflicted and only you. So you have multiple choices and only you. This is weird bipolar energy. Indecisive energy, very Libran. And Saturn's debilitated. So he doesn't know what he wants. because he doesn't know what he wants, she could never satisfy him. He was always nitpicking at her. I suspect he was always nitpicking at her because of the song that I'm hearing, Sade's song. I gave you all the love I got. I gave you more than I could give. I gave you all the love I had, and you took my love, you took it. Didn't I tell you what I believe? Somebody say that a love like that won't last. Didn't I give you all that I've got to? I had a baby by you without a ring at the height of my career. And I can't even get a commitment. Whatever, something was off here. She was giving more than he was. She was more invested than he was. Now with Saturn opposing the sun and the natal chart, this person has an insecurity about relationships. He may get married. He may not get married at all, or he may get married at a very old age, or he'll get married to somebody older than him who can benefit him in some way. Saturn in the 7th is a marriage of convenience, a marriage of business, a marriage of responsibilities, duties, right? We're married for the kids, for the bills. There's no passion and romance in a relationship. So his ideas about marriage are not the same as Halle Bailey's. I think Halle Bailey's a Gemini rising. Yes, she's a Gemini rising. So she has Sagittarius in the 7th house. She's also very fertile. So she has to be very careful about not getting pregnant within the next 3 or 4 years. If she doesn't want to, she could get pregnant. But, yeah, so this situation, she was more vested than he was. And the internet aunties saw this. And they were like, girl, what are you doing? Spirit guides, I need some more insight, please, on Halle Bailey and DDG's relationship. I'm do a Celtic cross. I haven't done these in a long time. Celtic cross for Halle Bailey and Daryl Dwayne Granberry. What's going on in their relationship, and how will things be between them within the next 24 months, 12 to 24 months? Spirit guides, please give me some more insight about Halle Bailey and DDG's relationship. Dynamics between them, their feelings, the challenges, so on and so forth. Thank you very much. Wee. The Hangman, Pisces energy, an impasse, no communication, or it's like a catch-22. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. Or they're not doing anything. They can't do anything because of the lawsuit. Or it's like they don't know how to fix this. Do they want to fix this? We'll see. Crossed by the Lovers card. Yeah. The Hangman crossed by the Lovers. They don't know what to do. 6 of Wands. 2 of Cups. There was a lot of love in this relationship. The Hermit. In the past. 7 of Pentacles, waiting for what? Knight of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, the Devil. This is in hopes and wishes and fears. Outcome, the Sun card. Happiness, okay, this is interesting. Strength, Leo energy. So this situation could be a boon or a benefit to their careers, to their visibility, to their fame. The Sun represents happiness, joy, children, creativity. It's a positive outcome. 7 of Pentacles. What are they waiting for in the near future? Clarify the 7 of Pentacles for Halle Bailey and DDG. The Queen of Wands and the 2 of Wands. This is Aries energy. Waiting for her to make a decision about how to move forward. I think she'll forgive him. She still has love for him. Neptune in Aries is really making her very soft-hearted, very gentle, kind, compassionate, and forgiving. She'll overlook whatever's been going on. And I think that this will lead to some sort of peaceful resolution at some point. The Sun is also a child. We'll see. Clarify the Sun card, please. The Sun for Halle Bailey, and we have The Three of Wands reverse. So they're going to stop fighting. Okay. They're going to... Okay, so someone could be trying to move away, separate, distance themselves from the situation. I think they're going to come to some sort of peaceful resolution, and there won't be... I think the restraining order may be thrown out, or she'll retract it or something. Clarify the Three of Wands in reverse. She still loves him. She wants peace. I think she'll make peace with the situation. Neptune in Aries is really giving her like... And also Saturn in Aries too is forcing Halle Bailey to see the error in her ways. Not saying that DDG treated her well. I don't think he did. I think she was chasing him, and he was breadcrumbing her in a sense. But I think Halle Bailey is very forgiving at this time. Neptune in Aries is definitely softening her edges, making her a little gentler, compassionate, empathetic, kind, and patient. Clock on Three of Wands in reverse, please. And the Sun card. Come out to the side. Ace of Cups reverse. Yeah, she loves him still, and she will... We got the Ten of Pentacles. Marriage, commitment, family. She wants her family back. What does DDG want from Halle Bailey? There could be a peace offering. This is 1 cup, not 2. The 2 is down here. But this is not the 6 of Cups either. Or the 9. Or the 10. There could be some reunion. But the reunion won't necessarily be like a reconciliation. But they're going to come back together. They're going to find some middle ground here. The edges are going to be softened between them. They'll both see how they contributed to the situation becoming what it is. The 9 of Cups. There we go. Wish fulfillment. Yeah, there's going to be a peaceful resolution to this. 4 of Pentacles. They're going to try to keep their family together, even if they're not together with the 4 of Pentacles. They'll try to keep their family together. They're becoming mature. This is maturity. Like, definitely maturity. Like, just because you're not with him, just because you're married, doesn't mean that, you know, you can keep him from seeing his son, or just because whatever. It's like they're both taking responsibility for what's happened. I'm not saying that DDG did not put his hands on Halle Bailey. I'm not saying that at all. But from their perspective, whatever happened in their relationship, they're both responsible for it. They're taking accountability for their part in the situation, regardless of how we feel about it. They both feel like they've contributed to this in some way, and they want to fix it for the sake of their family. Halle Bailey wants peace. So we're not together, right? The 10 of Cups is not here, but I want us to be on good terms. There is still love here, and there's going to be some forgiveness and compassion. What does Halle Bailey want from DDG? The 8 of Wands, she's still sexually attracted to him. She's still very, very attracted to him sexually. Page of Swords. She still is very attracted to him sexually. She wants communication. She wants intimacy with him. She wants to talk to him. She misses him. This is Sagittarius energy, her 7th house from her sun sign. And Pluto and Mars is there in a synastry reading. So she wants sexual relations with him. They could be one of those couples that are not together but end up having another baby while they're fooling around. And then the justification will be, I want my children to have the same daddy, and I want my son to have a sibling. Something like that, where it's not an official relationship. The relationship is kind of unorthodox. Now, Uranus is moving into Gemini in about a year or so. So this is an unorthodox lifestyle. This is a relationship without any sort of constraints or restrictions or rules. It's a non-traditional relationship. Halle Berry has Venus in Pisces, and with Uranus going into Gemini, that's going to make a square to her Venus, and so she'll be more open to having an unconventional relationship. She could still be sexually attracted to him to the point where she's still messing with him, but they're both seeing other people, or like one of those situations where that's my child's father, so I can still sleep with him kind of thing. And then she may end up getting pregnant by him again, or somebody else within the next couple years. Summer Walker vibes? What is going on here? So yeah, she Two of Wands, Queen of Wands. This is interesting. Very interesting. So right now, it's like whatever they've been through, I guess the energies are softening. There's there's some accountability. There's some accountability for both of them. They're both taking accountability for their role in a situation. And so it's softening the edges. But there's still there's a sexual energy between them. It's very intense. And I think they're cool with that. Or Halle, at the very least, is cool with that. We got the Queen of Wands and the Two of Wands. The Queen of Wands is a very attractive woman who's a mistress. She's not a wife necessarily. She's like a third party. She's not a side piece, but she's like I think they're going to still be intimate with each other. Even if they're not together, even if they're with other people, they're still going to be intimate with each other. Kind of like Cassie and Diddy. While she was married to her husband, she was still messing with Diddy. That kind of thing happens a lot. So there's some lingering feelings here. A very intense sexual chemistry between them that they'll continue to entertain. Even though they're not together anymore, that's kind of what it is. It's very interesting. The relationship is kind of nebulous. There are no rules. Neptune in Aries opposes DDG's sun sign, and Neptune conjunct Saturn kind of breaks the rules. They're going to be in an unconventional relationship with each other. It's like they'll still have sex with each other, but they won't be together. That kind of thing. So, guys, what are the current energies between Halle Berry and DDG? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for... What are the current energies between? We have very soon. It's upside down. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes clear to you. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. The Two of Wands. What do you want here? There is indecision on both their ends. There's I'm conflicted, but only you. Devoted, attached, and crave. Craving is a Plutonian Martian energy. It's very sexual. But the conflict is that there are personality conflicts between them. There's a power struggle between them. That's the conflict. And DDG also has his own personal issues. His own personal issues. They both have issues. She was chasing him. He was running from her. How does Halle Berry feel about DDG currently? How does Halle Berry feel about DDG currently? Her ex. How does Halle Berry feel about DDG currently? How does she currently feel about him? Reconciliation year, like I thought. Someone from your past is returning to your life, calling your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. She wants to get back with him or at least entertain him in some way. She still loves him. Open heart, receptive, trapped. Mars and Pluto, she's not going nowhere for a while. He has Mars conjunct his Pluto in Sagittarius, and she has Pluto in Sagittarius also. I think she'll get hurt by this down the line, though. She's already been hurt by the situation, but I think, yeah, there's a lot more coming with that. How does DDG feel about Halle Bailey? How does DDG feel about Halle Bailey? How does he feel about her currently? Okay, we have playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. And I mentioned earlier with the Saturn placement, it sucked the life out of this relationship. Saturn is about responsibilities and duties. So we had a baby within a year and a half of dating. So there's no more fun in the relationship. And that was partially because of him. They got too serious too soon, I would say. They got too serious too soon. And a lot of the conflict was fostered by the fact that they're both very young and they're both very immature, and they had a baby too soon. Not to say that the baby's not a good thing and the baby's is not blessed or wanted. It's not that. It's just that they were not mature enough to deal with the responsibilities of having a child. They didn't enjoy each other's company enough before they had this baby. So they didn't travel enough. They were trying to be grown before it was their time. And they're learning that lesson now. With Saturn in the 7th house, DDG having Saturn opposing his sun, he may have been parentified at a young age. He was forced to grow up an old soul, being responsible for a lot of people, feeling responsible for people. So it's like it was natural for him to do this because he's probably been taking care of people for a long time. And so this was like par for the course, but them rushing to have a baby, it made the relationship too serious too fast. They didn't know each other enough. They're both very immature. And so that's what happened. How will Halle Bailey feel about DDG in 12 to 24 months? How will Halle Bailey feel about DDG in 12 to 24 months? Deception. I figured this was not going to work out down the line. Neptune in Aries is a very delusional placement for an Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer. I'm going to do a reading. I'm going to do I'm going to do an astrology reading for all the cardinal signs, or all signs in general, for the Neptune and Aries transit, as well as the Saturn and Aries transit. I haven't done that yet, but yeah, she's deluding herself. She may think that because he still wants to have sex with her, it means that he wants to be with her, and that's not the case. How will DDG feel about Halle Bailey in 12 to 24 months? Wow. Healing family issues, right. He been had daddy issues before he got with her. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. There's something going on with his father and maybe even his mother that affected this relationship. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. He's healing through this relationship. And I mentioned this earlier. He's going through his own thing. He has his own life, his own identity. He has a lot of insecurities. The Saturn-Sun opposition makes it hard for him to connect with people. It's hard for him to be vulnerable. It's hard for him to trust people. It's hard for him to accept love. It's hard for him to feel like he deserves anything, or he doesn't feel like he deserves love or something, like he has to buy love. There's something going on with his own identity, his own ego, that's been damaged by his father's presence or lack of presence. And so he may feel like he can only be loved if he does things for people, if he shows up a certain way. There's no unconditional love for him. He doesn't feel that way about himself, or his mother may not have made him feel this way, like they only love me because I take care of them, or they only love me because I'm doing things for them. He has that issue within himself. He can't even accept the love that Halle Bailey gives him if it's unconditional, because he doesn't love himself. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. There's family karma here that's affecting the relationship. He could have daddy issues and mommy issues with Saturn opposing his sun sign. And so because he's very insecure and it's hard for him to trust people, he's a type to criticize, to verbally abuse, to gaslight, to breadcrumb, to use detachment as a weapon in order to like maintain some sort of power in the relationship. And Halle Bailey loves him for real, but he can't accept that or receive it because he doesn't love himself. Typical stuff, typical Negro drama. Now let me get into these other cards. Let me get one more. Okay. Let me find out why their relationship didn't work out. Look, we came out criticizing. Criticizing your partners, driving them away. Focus on their good qualities. That's crazy. Okay. So spirit guides, what prevented Halle Bailey and DDG's relationship from being successful? What got in the way of them getting married and having, you know, a nuclear family? And what caused this thing to fall apart, this relationship? What caused Halle Bailey and DDG's relationship to fall apart? We have stuck in the past. Yeah, this is daddy issues, family issues. Let go of your ex completely so you can truly welcome new love into your life. Did somebody have an ex they were still holding on to? I'm thinking this is a parental relationship. Fourth house energy. Not an ex. It could be an ex, but we'll see. One more, please. What prevented DDG from really connecting with Halle Bailey? Why did the relationship... Oh, how did he contribute to the end of the relationship? Age issues. Saturn. You feel too old or too young to date or have issues with your partner's age. Immaturity here. He thinks that she lacked maturity, but they're on the same age. But I think for him, having Saturn opposing his sun, him being so... I think does he take care of his family? I think I read somewhere that he does take care of his family. If he takes care of his family and he's been doing it for years, then his mindset is different. They're both maturing from this relationship, from the karma here, Saturn energy. He thinks she's too mature. What prevented... Well, how did DDG prevent this relationship from coming together, from being successful? There's a lack of maturity on both sides, but also they had a baby too quickly. The relationship aged. It got too serious too fast. They try to be grown. Procrastinate. Not making a decision. Not wanting to get married. Don't make someone wait around too long. They may give up on you. Did she want to get married to him? Was he indecisive about the next steps in the relationship? What's interesting is that DDG is like a gamer or something like that. And I'm seeing a computer, messy space, like someone who spends all day on the computer. A couch potato. Interesting. He's not like I show speed, that's for sure. Okay, so how did Halle Bailey contribute to the demise of this relationship? Was she clingy? I'm hearing clinginess. How did Halle Bailey contribute to the demise of the relationship? We have pent-up anger. You have unresolved feelings from your past that make you resentful towards others. The Mars-Pluto conjunction in their chart, the synastry chart, they triggered each other. You have unresolved feelings from your past that make you resentful towards others. Now, she does have Mars square Uranus and Mars conjunct Jupiter. Halle Bailey likes to fight. She likes to fight, and he likes to trigger her. She enjoys fighting or defending herself, and he enjoys triggering her. There's mutual combat here. She does have Mars conjunct Jupiter square Uranus. This is it's an impulsive person, someone who gets angry very quickly and who makes impulsive decisions when they're angry. What? How did Halle Bailey contribute to the demise of this relationship? They both have past issues then. You know what's interesting? Halle Bailey, DDG, with his Saturn conjunct her sun, he may remind her of her father. Is Halle Bailey close to her father? I don't know. If she's not close to her father, then she may have gravitated towards DDG to resolve those issues. And if DDG was trying to control her or manipulate her in any way, that would have triggered the anger. Because she could have been like, I'm doing all this for you, and you're still criticizing me. It's still not enough. Now I'm mad. Like, what more do you want from me kind of energy? Why are you playing it? Wow. Both of them, you know, they need to grow up, and I think they are growing up now. How did Halle Bailey contribute to the demise of this relationship with DDG? It was itchy. How did Halle Bailey contribute to the demise of this relationship with DDG? Demanding. You set impossible standards for your partner to meet. Be less demanding. This is Saturn energy. I think this is more so DDG than Halle Bailey. I don't know. And we have a baby here too. Only because of the Saturn placement for him. What is going on? Past trauma. You need to take time for yourself and heal your past trauma before moving on. Both of them have daddy issues. And for some reason I'm thinking daddy because it's Saturn and Aries. You need to take time for yourself. They both need to heal from this. And I think this relationship, the Saturn transit in Aries, is forcing them to take stock of this relationship, to reflect on the relationship, to evaluate what's happened, reassess things from a position of maturity. Because at first their relationship was pretty much controlled by lust, passion, you know, intrigue, curiosity. They young, got money, they famous, all this stuff. And because of their age and their celebrity, they didn't feel the need to mature. This is forcing both of them to mature and face their daddy issues. I mean, there could be mommy issues too, but there's Saturn all over here. I mean, the moon is also karma. But yeah, they both have. So if she has unresolved issues with her father or mother, DDG triggered them with his antics. But he wasn't doing it. I can't say he wasn't doing it intentionally. I think he was. But I don't think he understood why he was doing what he was doing. Because he's so young himself. He's acting out of impulse. So he's afraid of intimacy and commitment. He really is. He's afraid of it. He doesn't think he's lovable unless... It's like he tries to get people to prove their love to him because he doesn't feel lovable or deserving of unconditional love. And she was giving him that, but he couldn't receive it because he doesn't feel it for himself. And she internalized that as he doesn't like me or something like that. I'm not good enough. And then it sort of triggered childhood trauma for her. They need to grow up, both of them. They need to mature before they get back together. I think they'll still be intimate with each other. I think they're going to forgive each other. I think they'll learn from the relationship, but I think they move too quickly. There may be conversations about starting over. She may end up getting pregnant again within the next couple years. I'm not saying by him, but she's very fertile. She has Mars and Jupiter in conjunction in Taurus. Extremely fertile. She don't want another baby, just be careful. But she may end up having another child by her Saturn return, which is what, Saturn in Gemini or Saturn in Saturn in Cancer, one of the two. I gotta look at her chart. But she may end up having another baby because she wants her child to have a sibling, and she doesn't want, yeah, that would probably be it for the most part. So, Spirit Guides, what is going on between Halle Bailey and DDG's relationship? More advice for them, please. Okay. What am I most afraid of losing? Hence the runner-chaser dynamic. I'm afraid of losing you, so I'll push you away. I'm afraid of losing you, so I'll chase you. Runner-chaser dynamic. As we grow, change, and transform our lives, it requires us to let go of something that was, past trauma, Saturn, karma, or make room for what will be. If you were to take the big leap today, would you feel scared of losing love, safety, or belonging? They're both afraid. So her fear caused her to chase and ignore the advice of the internet aunties, and his fears causes him to run away and disconnect or detach. He doesn't feel like he deserves love, so he may use abuse to push people away and to force them to prove their love to him. What if it was a big fat lie? What if it was impossible to lose any of those things because you have the power to give everything you need to yourself? Self-love here. Name that fear and look at the worst case scenario. Find a solution. Take your power back, right? Because they both were playing power games here. There was a power struggle between them. And the power struggle was because they were both afraid of losing themselves to the relationship, but they craved the relationship at the same time. Really Plutonian, Martian energy here. It's like, I crave the very thing that I'm afraid of the most, which is losing power. And a lot of people, unfortunately, when they're really young, they confuse sexual chemistry and intensity with compatibility. I always say that sexual chemistry is just a trap, or it's a way to get us engaged in this lesson. You would not want to learn a painful lesson from somebody you're not attracted to, right? Usually you have to be really attracted to somebody to put up with the abuse or put up with the ego death of dealing with the relationship. So they were both very sexually compatible, and they confused that with actual real life compatibility, right? Raising a child together, paying bills together, taking care of the household responsibilities, similar values and ideals and goals. They confuse the two, and a lot of young people do that. So it's not their fault. They're learning that you can't do that. Sex does not a relationship or life or marriage or commitment make. Today's mantra: I move forward knowing I am powerful beyond measure. I am loved, I am safe, and I belong. And they don't feel that way about themselves. They were using the relationship to kind of, to compensate for those feelings, right? Of insecurity and of not being good enough. Not being good enough. I wonder if Halle Bailey has a relationship with her father. Is DDG, was he playing the role of her father in this situation? I don't know. What am I waiting for? Someone else to do it for me? Okay. Are you waiting on someone else before you can take the big leap? What if you were able to take life into your own hands and forge your own unique path? Put your heart into action. This is the procrastination card. What are you procrastinating about? Marriage, commitment, family? Yeah, DDG is, for him, marriage is going to be hard because Saturn in the 7th house is a rough placement because the marriage loses its romance really quickly. It's all about, I'm married for the kids. I'm married because we got a house together. I'm married because we're supposed to be married for tradition. Marrying somebody much older or even much younger There's no love in a relationship. I don't know if he ever expressed this, not wanting to get married or wanting to delay marriage. He may get married at an older, much older, a later date, or not get married at all. Or if he does get married, it'll just be because he's supposed to, not because he really loves the person like that. Like for him, he feels safe in situations where he can provide, or there's a logical reason for the relationship to be together. So we're together for the kids, for the tradition, not out of love, because I'm not lovable. So I can't trust that my wife will be loyal to me and committed to me if she doesn't need me. If we're not doing this for other reasons besides love. He won't get married for love. No way. That's not him. And Halle Bailey wants that marriage for love with Venus and Pisces conjunct Mercury. She idealizes marriage as like it's romantic fairy tale beauty and flowers and pink roses and all this stuff. And DDG's like, you need to grow up. Marriage is not about that. Marriage is about what we're going to do for these kids. He's always been a mature person in the sense of like being financially responsible for his family. He's maybe been parentified by his mother at a young age. Pluto was in Sagittarius. I don't know his rising sign. I can't get into it, but he may have been parentified at a young age. Put your heart into action and ask yourself, what risk can you take to move towards your dreams? Make a decision and do it. No more waiting for others. What is he procrastinating about? Maybe not wanting to get married or wanting to get married. I don't know. I think he would commit to Halle Bailey if she wasn't so emotional. He'd feel safer in that situation. He'd be able to control her more if she knew how to control herself. It's hard to control her, so it's hard for him to control her too. And so he doesn't trust her to be a wife for him. He criticizes her. Like, I don't know. I'm getting he criticizes her a lot about being too impulsive, impetuous, immature, irritable, passionate, fiery. She is an Aries. And she likes to fight. She does like to fight. I see that in her chart. So with him having Saturn in his 7th house from his sun, he's not going to put up with that in a relationship. He wants like a kind of a marriage of convenience, a marriage based on mutual shared goals, which is that makes sense. That's what marriage is, business. It's not about love. She wants that love aspect of it, but he doesn't trust her because she's still immature and she's a very fiery person, very sexual, very passionate. They have that chemistry together, but DDG wants to be with someone he can trust to not walk away or get impulsive or blow up or lose their temper when she doesn't get her way. Something about this is like a maturity difference. I'm not saying DDG is the most mature person in the world, but according to him, she's not mature enough. She's too impulsive, according to him. That doesn't mean it's true or false, but according to him, she's too reckless, too impulsive. And I think she kind of agrees with him to an extent with Saturn being an Aries. She may have to take accountability for her role in this. I might say he didn't do anything. I'm saying that they both contributed to this relationship falling apart because they're both very insecure. But her insecurity causes her to lash out, right? Him too. Now his lashing out is due to Mars and Pluto in conjunction. He has a really nasty temper. A really bad temper, especially if he doesn't get his way. They need to grow up, both of them. Don't do it scared, take the leap. No more thinking, only doing. Be brave and you'll discover what you're really made of. Wild soul, strong heart, can't lose. Okay? Any more cards do I need to pull out here? I think I'm done with this reading for now. I'll pull another card and I'm done. I'll do keywords. What keywords represent this relationship? And I'm going to call it a day. Spirit guides. What keywords can be used to describe Halle Bailey's relationship with DDG? Their relationship mutually. What keywords can be used to describe their relationship? Rhinoceros. Success, wealth, symbolizes luck and hope. Reasonable but cantankerous. Beast who allows nothing. Needs control. Bouts of moods to stand in their way. Right. The energy is very impetuous. Okay, so here's the thing. When you have a Mars-Pluto aspect in your synastry chart, right? Whether it's a trine, a conjunction, an opposition, or a square. There's a lot of sexual chemistry. But in astrology, sex and violence are the same. They're both ruled by Mars. I didn't mention passion. I didn't mention romance and, desire and beauty. I didn't mention that. I'm talking about raw sex and passion. That's both Mars energy and Pluto energy. So the reason why they're still around each other or orbiting is because they have a really strong sexual chemistry. Very strong. To the point where it makes them believe that this is more than what it is. Like a Bobby and Whitney type. I'm not saying it's not nothing, but the sexual chemistry is forcing them to deal with their own individual issues. With, not feeling worthy. Anger issues. Being parentified. They both could have been parentified at a young age. But I'm saying Halle Bailey has anger. I think they both do. Police, helpful person. It's not funny, but give assistance hiding, be on the lookout, things coming to light, rules. You should ask for help from someone in authority. They need to go to counseling. Structure. Police they need their relationship needs guardrails, right? You cannot have a healthy relationship that's based on Mars and Pluto alone. You need some Saturn. And Saturn is here, but they don't know how to. I think Halle Bailey has an issue with Saturn. Well, both of them do. DDG uses Saturn to criticize and create distance, right? Halle Bailey uses Saturn. She has an issue with Saturn. She has an issue with, being controlled, following rules, patience. She's not a very patient person. So they both need to develop their Saturn, which is the karma card. They need to grow up a bit. Yeah. I think once they both go through their Saturn return, they'll be a bit less impulsive, hopefully. They'll be more mature, more conscientious, more empathetic, more patient, more responsible. But right now, they're in the throes of Mars and Pluto. And so they'll continue to be intimate. Even if it's not right now, they're going to be intimate again. It's not over between them. But it doesn't mean that they'll be in a relationship. I think they'll have this weird situation where they're going to be maybe messing with other people and still messing with each other. They enjoy this company, they do, but they were too immature to have a baby so young. Halle Bailey has an issue with her father or Saturn in that energy, and so does DDG. But DDG may use Saturn as a weapon to control his partners, to criticize his partners, to manipulate them, to breadcrumb them, to create distance between himself and them, because he doesn't feel like he deserves love. And Halle Bailey has an aversion to that naturally because, she's an Aries. She's very passionate. And they have a lot of chemistry. The relationship has a lot of chemistry. So it's like, what's the issue? She gets angry. She gets angry with him because he plays games. He does play a lot of games. And with Mars and Pluto in conjunction especially, if you're not having sex, you're fighting, usually. And we saw this with Martell and Melody. They have a Mars, Pluto, and Libra conjunction. If you're not having sex, you're fighting with this aspect. Or if you're not being productive with this energy, you're fighting. They may also have angry sex. That one of those Bobby and Whitney type relationships. It's cute when you're young, but it's not going to be cute. Well, it's not cute anymore, I guess, with the law involved, police. It's cute when it first starts, but then when Saturn rears its ugly head, now you have responsibility of a child. It's not fun no more. It's not fun no more. So, I think they're going to take a step back and regroup and reflect on how they both contributed to the relationship falling apart, and then they'll move forward in a healthier space, whether they're together or not. They're going to continue to have sex with. It's not stopping. I'm sorry. Internet aunties, I'm sorry. They're going to keep snatching. It sounds weird. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for listening. I look forward to your feedback. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.